welcome the next President of the United States, Senator Bernie Sanders.
This is an extraordinary turnout. Madison, thank you so much for being here today. Let me begin by thanking the people of Alaska for giving us a resounding victory tonight. Above 75%. There's a conservative thought of our country, but we knew things were going to improve as we headed west. And last week we won Utah with 78% of the vote. We won Idaho with 79% of the vote. And we won Democrats abroad with 67% of the vote. We are making significant inroads in Secretary Clinton's lead, and we have, with your support coming here in Wisconsin, we have a path toward victory. We have, I think it is hard for anybody to deny that our campaign has the momentum. You are the momentum. Look around you tonight. And what we are seeing and what momentum means is in state after state, huge voter turnouts. And that is how we win, when working people and young people, when people who have given up on the political process get back in and demand a government that represents all of us, not the 1%. That's how we win. Momentum is about a week ago having 14,000 people out at a rally in Salt Lake City. and 15,000 out in Seattle, Washington last night. Momentum and energy is about, at this point in our campaign, having rallies and town meetings that have brought out almost 1 million Americans. And what momentum is about is in election after election, winning the overwhelming percentage of young people who are participating. And by young, I don't mean just the very young. The older you get, the younger the age appears. And I'm talking about winning by sizable margins, people 45 years of age or younger, the future of America. You know, we have been told for a long time that young people were supposed to be apathetic. That young people were not interested in shaping the future of our nation. Well, that is not what we are seeing in this campaign. What we are seeing is that the young people of this country who love this country so much want to make it a better country. And that they are prepared to stand up and fight and take on the major crises that we face. They want an economy that works for all of us, not just wealthy campaign contributors. They want the United States of America to join every other major country and guarantee health care to all people as a right. Like almost everyone in our country, conservative, progressive, Republican, Democrat, they are embarrassed by a corrupt campaign finance system that allows billionaires to buy elections. Our young people, black and white and Latino, are leading the effort to reform a broken criminal justice system. They know, and all of us know, that there is something wrong in America when we have more people in jail than any other country on earth. And together, we are going to change that. We are going to have the best educated population in the world, not more people in jail than any other country. And the young people of this country are leading the effort in demanding that we transform our energy system and combat climate change. They want to make sure that their kids and their grandchildren will live in a planet that is healthy and habitable. And they are showing every day that they have the guts to take on the fossil fuel industry, who are more concerned about short-term profits than the future of this planet. And when we talk about young people coming together, it's not just white kids. It is African American young people, Latino young people, Asian American young people, Native American young people. This is what momentum is. When we began this campaign, we were at 3 or 4% in the polls, 60 points behind Secretary Clinton. The other day, the latest poll that I have seen has us 1 point up. This is what momentum is. We chose not to start a super PAC and collect money from the billionaire class or Wall Street. Unlike Secretary Clinton, we have done it in a very different way. We have now raised almost 6 million individual campaign contributions. Not money from Wall Street or the drug companies or the fossil fuel industry, but from the middle class and working families of this country. Our average contribution is $27. And that has come from some 2 million Americans. In other words, what we are doing is running a campaign that is revolutionary in that it is not dependent on big money interests to get elected. This is what momentum is. In poll after poll, including a recent CNN poll, we have been beating Donald Trump by double digits. The last CNN poll had Hillary Clinton doing quite well. She was beating Trump by 12 points. We were beating him by 20 points. And that is true in virtually all of the national polls and in many of the state polls as well. And here is a simple truth and an important truth. Hillary Clinton and I agree that it is absolutely imperative that no Republican make it to the Oval Office. But where we do not agree is I think the evidence is quite clear, not only in terms of the polling that we have seen, polls go up and down, but one of our campaigns has created an enormous amount of enthusiasm and energy, which will lead to a large voter turnout in November. That campaign is our campaign. Now, here is a well-known political truth, and that truth is that Republicans win elections when people are demoralized and they don't come out to vote. Progressives and Democrats win elections when working people and young people and seniors and veterans stand up, fight back, and come out to vote. And I believe that our campaign is the campaign of energy, of momentum, which will lead to a large voter turnout in November and victory. All right, are you ready for a news alert? We just won the state of Washington. That is what momentum is about. So it looks like today we've got a landslide victory in Alaska. We're going to win in Washington. We're waiting for Hawaii. And then, with your help, we're going to win right here in Wisconsin. So don't let anybody tell you we can't win the nomination or win the general election. We're going to do both of those things. You know, and I think the reason that this campaign is doing so well is that we are doing something very unusual in American politics. Now, I know my Republican candidates think that what elections are about are attacking each other's wives or behaving like they were 10-year-olds in a food fight in a cafeteria. And these Republicans, let me tell you, are not just an embarrassment for the American people. They are an embarrassment for sane Republicans. You know, In a democracy, people can differ with each other. We all have friends who differ with us. But the conduct of this Republican process is literally beyond belief. Can you imagine, with all of the crises that this country faces, a disappearing middle class, income and wealth inequality, all of the other problems, what they are spending their time on are attacking each other's wives? How crazy is that? But the reason we are doing well is because we are talking about the real issues facing America, and we're telling the truth. And here is the truth. The truth is that no president, not Bernie Sanders or anybody else, can do it alone. We need a political revolution. We need millions of Americans to begin to stand up and fight back and demand a government that represents all of us. Whether you are a conservative Republican or a progressive, nobody believes that we should have a campaign finance system which allows billionaires to buy elections. Democracy means one person, one vote. And whether Governor Scott Walker likes it or not, that is exactly what we are going to bring to every state in this country, including Wisconsin. And I say to Governor Walker and all of the other cowardly Republican governors, if you cannot win or participate in a free and fair election where everybody votes, get out of politics, get a new job. At a time when this country has one of the lowest voter turnouts of any major country on earth, the idea that Governor Walker or any other governor would make it harder for people to participate in the political process is beyond comprehension. And together, not only are we going to overturn this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision, but we are going to create a situation where everyone in this country, 18 years of age or older, who is a citizen, will have the right to vote, Scott Walker notwithstanding. When we have nationally a situation where the Koch brothers and a handful of other billionaires are... Oh, and I forgot the Koch... I hope I didn't offend the governor. I understand that he and the Koch brothers are good pals. I didn't mean to... But When you have the Koch brothers and a handful of billionaires prepared to spend $900 million in this election cycle, that, my friends, is not democracy. That is oligarchy, and we will change that. I know that our Republican friends and elected officials tremble at the idea of large numbers of Americans participating in the political process. I've got bad news for them. That is exactly what is going to happen in this country. But when we together have the courage to take a hard look at the real crises that we face, it is not only a corrupt campaign finance system, it is a rigged economy. Whether you are a progressive or a conservative, you cannot accept the reality that today the top 0.1% now owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. It is not acceptable that the 20 wealthiest people own more wealth than the bottom 150 million Americans. It is not acceptable that one family, the Walton family of Walmart, owns more wealth than the bottom 40% of the American people. Today, all across this country, in Wisconsin and Vermont, in virtually every state, we have people working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, longer and longer hours just to bring in enough money and health care to take care of their families. You guys ready for a radical idea? Why not? This is Madison, Wisconsin. So here is the radical idea, which really isn't so radical after all, and that is we have got to create an economy that works for all of us, not the 1%. And when we talk about the crises facing our country, and when we are honest and not try to sweep our problems under the rug, what we have to acknowledge is that our criminal justice system is broken. What this campaign is about is getting people to think outside of the box, outside of the status quo. The status quo today is not a status quo that has to go on year after year after year. We can change it. And what we can change is ending the international embarrassment of the United States of America, our great country, having more people in jail than any other country on earth. We are going to get to the cause of why we have 2.2 million people in jail, why we're spending $80 billion a year locking them up. And one of the reasons is that youth unemployment in this country is outrageously high. For white kids with a high school degree, 33% unemployed, Latinos 36%, African American kids 51%. Radical idea number 2, for our young people, we're going to invest in education and jobs, not jails or incarceration. It costs less money to send a kid to the University of Wisconsin than to lock them up. Let's do that. And as a nation, let us stop what we too often see on TV, and that is videos of unarmed people, often minorities, being shot by police officers. Now, I've been a mayor for 8 years in Burlington, Vermont. I've worked with police officers all over this country. Vast majority of police officers are honest and hardworking and trying to do a very difficult job. But when a police officer, like any other public official, breaks the law, that officer must be held accountable. We have got to demilitarize local police departments. We have got to make police departments look like the diversity of the communities they serve. We have got to rethink the war on drugs. Over the last 30 years, millions of Americans have received police records because of possession of marijuana. And lives have been ruined as a result. You go into a job and your prospective employer says, well, do you have a police record? Well, yeah, I do. Well, you're not going to get the job. Today, under the Federal Controlled Substance Act, marijuana is listed in the same Schedule 1 as heroin. That is nuts. Now, people can argue, although I suspect in this audience there may not be much of an argument, about the pluses and minuses of marijuana, but everybody knows marijuana is not a killer drug like heroin. And that is why I have introduced legislation to take marijuana out of the Controlled Substance Act. It is a decision of a state, as you all know, whether they make marijuana legal or not, but it should not be a federal crime. But when we talk about drugs, everybody here knows or should know that today in my state of Vermont, neighboring New Hampshire, all over this country, we have a major crisis in terms of opiate and heroin addiction, that every day people are dying from overdoses. This is an issue that we have got to address. Too many lives are being shattered. And the first way to address that issue is to understand that substance abuse and addiction is a health issue, not a criminal issue. And that is why we need a revolution in mental health delivery in this country. And it's not just substance abuse. It is the fact that tragically in America today there are thousands of people walking our streets who are suicidal, who are homicidal, who need treatment today, not 6 months from now. This campaign is doing as well as it is because we are listening to the people of America, not wealthy campaign contributors. We are listening to working people, and they tell me they can't make it on $8 or $9 an hour. And that is why together we're going to raise the minimum wage to a living wage, $15 an hour. This campaign is listening to senior citizens and disabled vets. And what they are telling me is they cannot make it on $11,000 or $12,000 a year Social Security. And you know what? Nobody can. Now, unbelievably, we got Republicans in the Senate and the House. They want to cut Social Security benefits. Well, I've got some bad news for them. We're not going to cut Social Security benefits. We're going to expand Social Security benefits. This campaign is listening to women. And what women are telling us is they are sick and tired of earning 79 cents on the dollar compared to men. And I know that every man here tonight will stand with the women in the fight for pay equity for women workers. This campaign is listening to our brothers and sisters in the Latino community. There are 11 million undocumented people in this country, and what our Latino brothers and sisters are saying is they are tired of living in the shadows, tired of living in fear, tired of being exploited. They want, I want, comprehensive immigration reform and a path toward citizenship. And if Congress does not do its job, I will use the executive powers in the presidency to make sure we do everything that we can. Our immigration policy must be about bringing people together, not dividing up families. And I will stop the deportations that we currently see. This campaign is listening to our brothers and sisters in the African American community. And what they are asking is, how does it happen that we apparently have trillions of dollars to spend on a war in Iraq that we never should have gotten into? A war which I vigorously opposed. We can spend money for war, but apparently we don't have the money to rebuild devastated communities all over this country, like Flint, Michigan. I was in Flint, Michigan a number of weeks ago, and what I saw there, I honestly could not believe was happening in the United States of America in the year 2016. Children being poisoned with excessive lead in the water. But it's not just Flint. It is cities and communities all over this country where water systems are inadequate, wastewater plants falling apart, roads, bridges, levees, dams, rail system. We need to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure. We can create millions of jobs doing that. This campaign is listening to our brothers and sisters in the Native American community. And I've had the privilege, as I traveled this country, to meet with some wonderful, wonderful tribal leaders who are doing extraordinary things for their people. But everybody here knows, and again, this is a truth, it's an unpleasant truth, but it's a truth that we have to deal with. And everybody here knows that from before the United States became the United States, before we were a country, Native Americans were treated absolutely disgracefully. They were lied to, they were treated, and treaties that were negotiated in good faith were broken. We owe the Native American people more than we can ever repay them. They have given us the most important and beautiful parts of our culture. They have taught us about the environment and the understanding that as human beings, we are part of nature. We cannot destroy nature. And yet today, in Native American communities and on reservations, unemployment rates sky high, poverty much too high, schools inadequate, suicide rates terrible. If elected president, we will fundamentally change our relationship to the Native American people. I am a member of the United States Senate Committee on the Environment. And let me tell you what Republican governors and senators and members of the House do not have the guts to acknowledge. And that is, the debate is over. Climate change is real. It is caused by human activity, and it is already doing devastating problems to our country and around the world. We have a moral responsibility to leave this planet in a way that is healthy and habitable for future generations. And together, we are going to take on the fossil fuel industry. We are going to tell them that their short-term profits are not more important than the future of our planet. This campaign is listening to young people. And young people are asking me, they're saying, Bernie, how does it happen that everybody, our parents, our teachers, everybody told us to get the best education that we can? Everybody told us that we live in a competitive global economy. We need the best educated workforce in the world. And yet, when we did the right thing, when we got that education, we ended up $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 in debt. Here is another simple truth, and this campaign is about telling the truth. 50 years ago, you had a high school degree. You could go out in this economy and probably get yourself a damn good job at decent pay. 50 years ago. The world has changed, the economy has changed, technology has changed. Today, in many respects, a college degree is the equivalent of what a high school degree was 50 years ago. And that is why, when we look at public education today, it is not good enough to just have free schools, free public schools from first grade to 12th grade. In the year 2016, we need to make public colleges and universities tuition free. This is not a radical idea. Don't let anybody tell you this is a radical idea. This exists in Germany, it exists in other European countries, in Scandinavia, and you know what? 50 years ago, it existed in the United States of America, where our great universities and colleges were virtually tuition free. If we could do this 50 years ago, we could do it today. And here's what we have got to accomplish. I grew up in a family where my parents never went to college. We didn't have much money, so I know about this. All over this country, you got kids in the 4th grade, 6th grade, 8th grade. Their parents never went to college. They don't have any money. I want those kids to know that if they do well in school, take school seriously, yes, regardless of the income of their family, they will be able to get a college education. And in addition, we have got to significantly lower student debt in this country. All over this country, I've talked to people young and not so young, not so young. Talked to a woman in New Hampshire, she's paying off her own student debt and her daughter's student debt. Talked to a guy in Nevada, he's been paying off his student debt for 25 years. He's more in debt today than he was when he took it out. What we have got to do is allow people who have student debt to refinance that debt at the lowest interest rates they can find. Now, my opponents say, the establishment media says, well, Bernie, you know, you're Santa Claus giving away all this free stuff, free tuition at public colleges, lowering student debt. How are you going to pay for it? Well, let me tell you how we will pay for it. And this is why we got to think outside of the status quo of the options that the corporate media gives us. 8 years ago, as a result of the greed and recklessness and illegal behavior on Wall Street, this country, as you all know, was plunged into the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression. Millions of people lost their homes, their lives, their life savings, and their jobs. We bailed out Wall Street. Well, I think now is the time to impose a tax on Wall Street speculation. If the middle class could bail out Wall Street, it's Wall Street's time to help the working families of this country. We've got Republican senators and governors, everybody else running all over the country talking about family values, how much they love families. I want everybody here to be clear about what Republicans mean when they talk about family values, and what that is that no woman in this vast room, in this state, in this country, should have the right to control her own body. I disagree. What they mean is that our gay brothers and sisters should not have the right to be married. I disagree. That is their family values. Jane and I have been married 27 years. Actually, my anniversary is coming up soon. Thank you for reminding me. Pretty soon. All right. See, I give this speech and I'll remember maybe my anniversary date. And we have 4 great kids and 7 beautiful grandchildren. And there's nobody in the world who believes in family more than my wife. Me too, but she does more. But when we talk about family values, our values are very different than Republican family values. We talk about ending the international embarrassment of the United States being the only major country on earth not to guarantee paid family and medical leave. I want to talk about family values. Today in Wisconsin, today in Vermont, women are giving birth. Big day for the family, big day for the baby. But here is the reality. If that woman in Vermont or that woman in Wisconsin does not have a lot of money, she will, in a few weeks' time, be forced to separate herself from that newborn baby, go back to work in order to earn enough income to take care of her family. That is not a family value. That's the opposite of a family value, and that is why we will pass legislation in Congress guaranteeing 3 months paid family and medical leave. Now, I have been criticized for saying this in the past, so let me say it again. In my view, health care is a right, not a privilege. I am a member of the committee that helped write the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act has done a lot of very positive things for this country, but we still have a long way to go. Today, we remain the only country in the industrialized world. Germany has health care for all. The UK, France, Scandinavia, Canada, Italy, you name it. Every country guarantees health care to all except the United States. Together, we are going to end that. In America today, 29 million Americans have no health insurance. Many of you are underinsured with high deductibles and high co-payments. And every day, we are being ripped off unconscionably by the drug companies who charge us the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. And on top of all of that, we end up paying far, far higher prices for prescription drugs than any other country on earth. If elected president, we will move forward to a Medicare for all single-payer healthcare system. And when we do that, we guarantee comprehensive health care to all, and we save middle-class families thousands of dollars a year on their health care bills. Now, my friends, everybody here knows that real change never takes place from the top on down. It is always from the bottom on up. That is the lesson of American history. It is the lesson of world history. 100+ years ago, when workers in this country were being ruthlessly exploited, being overworked, being underpaid, they stood up and said, we are not animals, we are human beings, we are going to form trade unions. And we owe our brothers and sisters in the trade union movement, we owe them a whole lot for helping to create a 40-hour work week and helping to create the middle class of this country. And let me tell Governor Walker, he may have won a short-lived victory here against the unions, but that short-term victory will not stand in the long run. We are going to rebuild the trade union movement. The history of the civil rights movement is about, over centuries, African Americans and their allies coming together to say that in this country racism and segregation and bigotry will not stand. We are going to change that dynamic in American society. And in that fight for civil rights and ending racism, we don't know how many people died or went to jail or were beaten, but that's how change comes about. 100 years ago, women in America, people forget this, 100 years ago, a very short time in a historical perspective, 100 years ago, women did not have the right to vote, to go to the schools they wanted, to do the work they wanted 100 years ago. But women and their male allies stood up, fought back, went to jail, went on hunger strikes, in some cases died. To say that in America, women will not be second-class citizens, we will take on sexism. We were in this room 7 years ago, no time at all. Somebody jumps up and says, you know, Bernie, I think that by the year 2015, gay marriage will be legal in 50 states in this country. The person next to him would have said, what are you smoking? You are nuts. But
same friendly people, same expert care. Just a new name. We're now Unity Point Health Meritor. The point of everything we do is you.
that doesn't need family and medical leave, not acceptable. Why are we not more aggressive in combating climate change? Not acceptable. And people are looking all around and they're saying it is too late for establishment politics and establishment economics. And people are saying we need a political revolution where millions of people stand up, fight back, and create a government that works for all of us. Now, Now, today we have won apparently great victories in Washington and in Alaska, and we don't know yet about Hawaii. Last week we won just huge victories in Idaho and in Utah. And now we are coming big time into Wisconsin. What we have seen throughout this campaign is that when voter turnout is high, we win. When it is low, we lose. So right now I am requesting, I am hoping, I am asking people to help us in every way they can to make sure that we win here in Wisconsin. Thank you all very much.